Hi everybody, for my how-to video I'm going to show you how to graph supply and demand curves and shifts in supply and demand curves using Microsoft Excel. As I was going through our objectives and assessments, I had a great worksheet put together with different information on quantity demanded, quantity supplied, and how it relates to price. And one of the questions I asked was to graph the supply and demand curves. But as an online virtual class, you can't just draw it on a piece of paper and show your teacher. So I was struggling a little bit, couldn't figure out how I wanted to do it, and I figured out how to do it on Excel because of the great internet. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So if you ever find yourself doing supply and demand curves, you can do it on Excel. So first we're going to go to Excel, a blank page, and then we're going to type in our information that we need. So we'll go with price in dollars, then we'll go quantity demanded, and then we'll go quantity supplied. Alright, what I like to do with these titles here is to distinguish them. So I like to bold them and then maybe make them a light gray background just to kind of set them apart and make them a little different from the other information that you're going to put down. So let's just say we're going to do this for bicycles. So let's just say 100 bicycles, or we're going to do the price for bicycles. Okay, so we'll start with 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, and 600. Okay, so quantity demanded, so however many bicycles people want at a certain price point will be 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, and 20. So at $100, the quantity demand will be 70. At 200, it'll be 60. Okay, all the way down to at $600, only 20 people want. So quantity supplied will be 30 at 100, 40, and 50, 60, 70, and 80. Okay, so now you have all the information you need. Alright, so you have this beautiful table, and now you need to make it into a chart. So what we want to do is highlight all the boxes, go to Insert, Scatter, and then we want to choose what's called the Scatter with Straight Lines and Markers. Alright, so there we go. We have our supply and demand curve. Alright, but it's just not quite done yet. Okay, we have our two lines, we have our equilibrium point. So at 300, at the price of 300, okay, with the equilibrium point would be 50 bicycles. That would be the perfect market price for bicycles. Alright, so we want to make this prettier. Alright, so we want to go to a different chart layout, so we can get a title, we can label the X and Y axes, and we can make it just a little more professional looking. So we need to click on Layout 1, which will give us this table and legend, and then it'll give us our options for a title. So let's change this title to quantity demanded and quantity supplied for bicycles. We can make that font smaller so it all fits. Okay, and then we can change the axis title to price, and we can change this the x-axis title to the x-axis is price, y-axis will be quantity. Alright, so now we have a much better looking graph where we have supply and demand curves going, we have titles, we have all of that. Okay, so we can save that, But what we can also do is what we'll need to do when we want to show a shift in supply. So the question I have on my worksheet is, what if labor costs go up, the unions fight for higher wages? Okay, so the cost of doing business increases. The inputs for to produce a bicycle increase. So the quantity supplied is going to go down 20 units per price point. What will that do to the supply curve? So what we want to do here is we want to go back to the top and insert quantity supplied, but we want to put a 2 by it to show that it's the shift. Okay, and then it goes down 20 units per price point. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay, so now we want to add that to our graph here. And there it is. Okay, so here's the shift. So now we have both graphs. We have the original, and now we have the graph with the shift in the supply curve. Alright, so now we can go back to this chart, and we can put QD for quantity demanded, and QS, just to keep it short, for quantity supplied for bicycles, okay, with shift in QS. Let's capitalize S. Alright, so now we can just make it pretty again. Input quantity and price, I did it again. Price, no, I did it right. Price, and then quantity. Okay, so this is how we do it. This is how you create supply and demand curves using Excel, which is really an amazing tool. If you are doing a virtual econ class where you need to produce these things and you don't have access to a fax machine or a copier or something where you can produce it on paper and then put it onto your computer. It's amazing that it took me so long to realize this, but it is an absolute great tool, and I can't wait to use it in my classroom when I take my kids into the lab and have them producing these charts for me, or these graphs for me, and it'll help them see the illustration of the shifts and what they look like. I know for me, not having the greatest handwriting, this can be a humongous tool. This can be a great tool. So this is how you graph quantity demanded and quantity supplied based on price using Microsoft Excel.